My advice for today, don't be an asshole. What's going on, everybody? It's America's favorite elderberry swag for life, and I thank you for joining me today. I always like to start off my videos by saying if you like what I'm doing, please hit that like button. And if you're not a subscriber, go ahead and hit subscribe. It would really mean a lot to me. So you may wonder why I said don't be an a-hole at the beginning of my video. Well, there's a specific reason for that. So for those of you who don't know, there is a Reddit called Am I the A-hole? I'm being PC here, but anyway, basically what it is, it's a thread where people will post scenarios of something that's going on in their life, and then they're basically asking people to judge whether they're the a-hole or not. Now, I always find these very interesting because sometimes they're just really entertaining. Now, I will admit, I think sometimes some of them are made up. Whether they are or whether they aren't, I don't know, but I always find them really interesting. And so I decided what I was going to do today is I'm going to go ahead and read some of them. They also have some on TikTok, so I'm decided I'm going to go ahead and go to TikTok and play some too. So we're just going to kind of go back and forth between Reddit and TikTok, and we're gonna see certain scenarios, and I'm going to judge whether they're the a-hole or not. So let's get into it and see what I can come up with. Am I the a-hole for saying I'll be driving myself and paying for my own room on the upcoming family vacation so I don't have to be a babysitter? Okay. I, 23, I guess that means male, was repeatedly stuck paying for part of helper and babysitter on family outings. I had to move out of my parents' house because I kept being forced to help watch my 3 nephews. Last year we took a family vacation in summer to the coast. I rode along with my parents and they paid for my hotel room. Only I had to share that room with 3 rowdy boys because my sister and her husband wanted a room to themselves. I was promised time to do my own things on the vacation, but instead I ended up having to help with these kids. I complained to everyone about it and was reminded I was there for free. And then we pretty much did only one thing which I wanted to do, which was a tour of an art gallery. I like doing this whenever I'm at the coast, but the kids find it boring. I can understand that. This year my parents have a beach trip planned for June, and they assumed I'd be riding along the same way as last year, but I refused. I said I'd be driving myself, paying for my own hotel stay, and have my own room. My parents were shocked and tried to remind me of the cost. I said, no worry, I've got a good job and a decent running car. I can more than afford it. But that's when the but started. I stated the previously listed things as to why I'll be driving myself and paying for myself. I want to be able to enjoy this vacation as an adult and not be treated like a child like last year. My parents told my sister, and she called to blow up at me that I'll be ruining the vacation if I'm off doing my own thing while she has to wrangle her 3 boys. I ended up yelling at her that last year all she did was rope me into her mess. I really didn't get to do that much of anything I wanted to do, and I was treated like the bad guy for wanting to go to an art gallery. I'm a grown man. I deserve my own vacation too. Now my sister's not speaking to me, and my parents are trying to convince me to just ride with them to keep the peace. I'm still refusing, but the pressure's getting to me. Am I the asshole for not giving in? I know they'll have a pretty hard time. They won't have another person there to help. And I'm not going to read the edit. Are you the asshole? Absolutely not. You are not the asshole. Are you kidding me? First off, now I will say this. Now, they're going along for free. Now, it was the parents who paid for everything, but then he ended up having to basically be the babysitter for his sister's kids. If the sister didn't pay something, then why are you watching her kids? Those are her kids. But no, you're not the a-hole for wanting to drive your own drive on your own and pay for your own room, because like you said, you are a grown adult. If the family decides they want to do something and you are paying your way, if you are an adult, then you are more than within your right to do what you want to do. And don't let your sister guilt trip you into thinking, because my thing is like this: she had them kids. Those are her kids. Those are not your kids. You know, now, could you offer to like maybe watch the kids for one day? Sure, you could do that. But are you the asshole for not wanting to be the babysitter just because they pay for everything? Absolutely not. I'm going to say you are absolutely not the asshole in this situation, and I stand behind that, and that's the way I see it. So, yeah. I can't believe she said that. Are you kidding me? Okay, here's one. This one looks interesting. Am I the a-hole for taking some of my brother's educational savings to pay for my car he damaged? My brother 16 swiped my car while drifting his shitbox car. I don't have an amazing car or anything, but he still did about $15,000 damage to it. If I go through insurance, I will have to explain what happened, and they will go after him for the money. They might also expect me to file a police report, which will get him in trouble. My parents said they would pay for the repairs, and they did. There are zero problems between my parents and myself on how this was handled. My brother, on the other hand, is pissed because the money came out of his college fund. He will still have enough to go to school. He would just have to get a job or live at home and commute to a closer college. He was looking forward to moving into the dorms like I did. He thinks I should have lied to the insurance, but I told him I'm not committing fraud for him. He thinks I'm an asshole for holding him accountable for a dumb mistake. I told him he's lucky I just didn't go to the cops. Well, first off, you're not the asshole because you didn't take the money out of your brother's educational savings. Your parents did. So how does that make you an asshole? Your parents said that they would take care of it. They decided they were going to take the money out of his college fund. That's on the parents. That has nothing to do with you. So no, that doesn't make you an asshole. Now, it might the parents. I guess it depends on where that money came from. Okay, so I get it. I get it. You know, the thing is, you know, your brother did some stuff and he has to be held accountable for it. $15,000 worth of damage. Good Lord. You say it's not an amazing car, but $15,000 worth of damage? Maybe you should have just gotten a new car. I don't know, but I mean, you're not the asshole for, you know, wanting somebody to be held responsible for it. It's the parents who decided to take it out of your brother's college fund. That wasn't your decision to make. So I tell you what, let's pop over to TikTok and let's pick one from here and see.
Am I the asshole for laughing when my wife told my mom to kiss her ass? I, 23 male, married my wife, 22 female, let's call her Kay, last year, and it was recently our 1-year anniversary. I met Kay when we were in 6th grade. We became friends, then started dating our freshman year of high school. I proposed to her right before COVID. Kay and my mother, 46 female, have never had a good relationship, and if I'm being honest, she wasn't the best mother to me, but I still love her. Now getting to the problem. Me and Kay went to my parents' house for our 1-year anniversary because my sister was also visiting, and this would be a chance for me to meet my nephew for the first time. We left for my parents' house about 5 days before our anniversary. First night, no issues. Second night, no issues. Third night is when I realized Kay was starting to get annoyed with my mother's remarks to her. Oh, look, it's more mom drama. The day of our anniversary, we went out for the day and had a good time. When we got back to my parents, my sister and Kay were in the kitchen having a glass of wine and talking. It's about 8 o'clock and we all start to settle down. Nephew is asleep, so the adults decided to just sit in the back around the fire pit and talk. My sister is engaged and starting to look for dresses, so she pops the question and asks Kay if she can see a pic of her dress because she needs inspiration. This is where things got bad. As Kay goes to grab her phone to show her the pictures, my mom says, "Oh no, you don't want to dress like hers. You'll look like an absolute slut." As my sister and I went to say something, Kay just looks at my mom and in the calmest voice I've ever heard says, Oh, please. You and your saggy boobs can kiss my ass. Both me and my sister looked at each other and busted out laughing. My dad was wide-eyed and looked like he was holding in a laugh as well. My mother just silently got up and walked inside the house. Dad followed her, as did her boobs. Next morning, we say goodbye to my sister and get on the road back home. When we get home, I'm receiving multiple calls and texts from multiple family members regarding this situation. And then late that night, my mom calls me and tells me I'm a total asshole for laughing at what Kay said and not standing up for her. Now she's pissed at me and refuses to answer my texts or calls. So am I the asshole? Edit. Just to clarify, I do not just let my mother talk shit about my wife. Yes, I stand up for my wife, and yes, my wife has stood up for herself. Me and my wife will have a serious conversation about what has happened, and I am totally on her side with this. Another update. Me and Kay have talked it over, and we are going to limit contact with my mom and set major boundaries with her. You're definitely not the asshole for laughing at what your wife said to your mom. Personally, I feel like you have a responsibility for either preventing that from happening in the first place by creating boundaries with your mom, not letting her treat your wife like that, or for not saying more right then in the moment.
I have to agree. I don't feel like you're the asshole in that situation because, you know, that wasn't an appropriate comment for your mother to make to your wife. You know, I have to admit, if my, you know, husband said something like that to my mom, if my mom was being disrespectful, I probably would laugh too. No, I don't feel like you're the asshole in this situation. Your mother shouldn't have said what she said. So yeah, that's a no, you are not the asshole. Am I the asshole for refusing to hang out with my autistic brother? So I have a twin brother who is severely autistic. He isn't exactly low functioning, but he's close. We both are about to finish our junior year of high school, and honestly, I view him as a burden to my social life. Growing up, our parents made sure we spent a lot of time together. They insist I play with Zach, which is his name. He always made it hard for me to make friends because he always acts so clingy to me and utterly embarrassing. With online classes from COVID, I felt happy because I didn't always have Zach hovering over me all times. Ever since we went back to school in person, I was reminded how much I hated the way he affected how other people treat me. Whenever friends wanted to hang out, my mom would frickin' demand that I brought him along with me. They just stopped inviting me to stuff. Today I wanted to hang out with a girl I like after school and told Zach to walk home. He started screaming and called my mom, and she told me I had to either let Zach hang out with us or I'd have to go home, so I decided to just go home. On the way home, I started screaming at Zach, telling him it wasn't normal. He wasn't normal, and he's ruining my life. I said we're done talking when we aren't at home. He started crying and just sat on the sidewalk having a meltdown. Our mom had to come get him, and I've been arguing with her, saying I'm done with Zach and I'm almost an adult. I'm not wrong here, right? That's a tough one. While I can understand how difficult it might be to be around somebody who's autistic, the fact that they are autistic and you know that they're autistic, yes, I think you're an asshole. You know, I think that this is something that's beyond his control. And you know this. I understand that it might be difficult. I understand that this is, you know, sometimes dealing with somebody who's on the spectrum like that is not easy. But that's your brother. Now here's the thing, and you say he's your twin brother, so that could have been you. That could have been you who was the one that's severely autistic, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong about that, but you could have been the one that's autistic. So I understand that, like, it might be difficult for social situations for you to, be able to hang out with your friends and stuff like that. But again, that's your brother, and you have got to. I think if you made the situation easier for him, if people are picking on him, stand up for your brother and let people know, like, look, you're not going to treat my brother that way. And if people like you for who you are, they will stand up. They will agree to that and say, like, yeah, I'm not going to. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have done that. And then maybe your brother probably wouldn't have the outburst that he has. Now, I will say that, like, maybe the parents do need to back off just a little bit and let you have some space to, operate, by yourself, and let your brother know that, like, hey, your brother needs some time alone. You got to let him do that. Now, you two you'll have time to hang out together, but you got to give him time to kind of, be separate, because that's something that's going to happen anyway. Like, I'm sure that when this kid becomes an adult, I mean, he's already kind of said that, like, he's definitely ready to, like, move away from his brother. So you need to go ahead and start preparing him for that's going to happen. But yeah, I would say, I wouldn't say you're a total a-hole, but you're kind of skirting it right there, buddy. So yeah, I'm gonna say yes, you are the asshole in that situation. This one sounds interesting. Oh God, these are so long. Am I the asshole for using my wife's vacation money without her permission? English isn't my first language, okay? My wife and I have been together for 15 years. Together we have a 14-year-old daughter, Amy, and she has a 17-year-old daughter, Lisa. Okay, so I get it. So she had a daughter who's 17, and together you had a 14-year-old daughter. You've been together 15 years. Got it. Okay. Lisa is very girly, just like my wife. She also looks like my wife a lot, and they are both very beautiful. I'm having a moment right there, because it's like, you're talking about your wife's daughter, talking about that she looks like your wife, and that your wife, they're both very beautiful. It's like, I don't know, that's just kind of giving me a vibe. I don't know. Okay, so my wife believes that girls must wear girly clothes, dresses, skirts, and other things like this. However, the problem is that Amy doesn't have much of a girly face, and she doesn't look good in girly clothes. Okay. A few weeks ago, we took some pictures of both girls, and my wife put Lisa's pictures in the living room. However, she insisted that we should put Amy's pictures in her bedroom because there's no more space in the living room. She didn't exactly say she thinks Amy is ugly, but both Amy and I knew that this was basically what she meant, and Amy had tears in her eyes. Sorry, Amy. I was so mad I decided to do something. I got a hairdresser appointment for Amy and told her she could do whatever she wants. She cut her hair short and colored it. Then we got 2 more piercings on her ears, and then we went shopping and bought many clothes for her. This time, instead of choosing dresses, she decided to buy boy clothes. She looks amazing in them and was very happy. This is where I might be the asshole. We can't exactly afford to buy that many clothes when she doesn't even need them. I'm the breadwinner, and my wife is I'm assuming that stay-at-home mother. She has been saving money for a vacation, and she's been looking forward to it because she doesn't get to go on vacations much. I have access to my wife's account, and I used her vacation money to pay for everything. When we returned home, my wife was horrified because I didn't let her know about changing my daughter's appearance. She asked me where I got the money to buy those, and I told her the truth. She just burst out crying, calling me an asshole because she doesn't get to have fun for years, and I stopped her from going on a vacation that she was looking forward to. She thinks I'm the a-hole and is giving me the silent treatment. This is tricky for a number of reasons. So I guess the question is, Where did the money, did you give her the money and she put it in an account for her vacation? Or does your wife just, well, he says something about her getting a job and earning money herself. So I guess he's giving her money and she's putting that money in an account. Well, it does say she's been saving money for vacation. So I'll say this. You are the asshole, but your intentions were good because you were trying to make your daughter happy. Now, we'll say this. So what I'll say is this. There's a few things I want to comment on. First off, the point that she's upset that you didn't consult her before, you took your daughter to have her haircut and stuff like that. I do kind of feel like that's a conversation that you both should have. I mean, I understand it made your daughter happy, but I feel like you should have told your wife, hey, Amy says that getting her haircut would make her happy. I support her in that. And, have a conversation about it. But don't just take her and get her haircut and then be like, oh, by the way, I took our daughter to get her haircut real short. I think he should have had a conversation with his wife before he did that. Now, as far as the clothes are concerned, I mean, if that's what she wants to wear, that's what she wants to wear. The piercing, I probably say you should have a conversation with your wife about that too. If your wife's account is where she's been putting the money and you have access to that account, I do feel like you're the asshole for taking out the money without telling her that you were taking out the money and what you were taking out for. Because, you're saying you're the breadwinner. So if you're the breadwinner, why didn't you just go ahead and pay for this stuff yourself? I get that you're trying to punish your wife, but I think there was a different way to do it other than this. Because, like I said, if she's been saving the money for this specific thing, and then you just go in there and you just take the money out without consulting her, I do kind of feel like that's an asshole move. But like I said, I feel like you had good intentions behind it. So, you're not a total asshole, but that it was an asshole move. But, I say you were an asshole, but for the right asshole reasons, I guess, if you want to say that. So it's not the worst thing you could have done, but yeah, you are kind of a little asshole for doing that.
Am I the asshole for cooking my BF's family Chinese food instead of a Chinese food? I was born in China, but my parents and I moved to the West when I was little, so I was raised mostly a Westerner, but my parents still managed to teach me many Chinese traditions, including food, and I sometimes still cook what they cook. So, I have been with my boyfriend for about 3 years and he lives with me at my place. This Christmas, his family, mom, dad, sister and nephew, came to visit him from his birth country, Spain, for the first time in years. I was excited because I never had a chance to meet them in person. They arrived a few days before Christmas. He went to pick them up at the airport while I was working. So when I came home they were already there. The meeting didn't go as well as I would wish, because the little nephew, as soon as he saw me, started doing the eye stretching thing. He was immediately reprimanded by his mom and grandparents. But the following days he made a lot of racist jokes in Spanish like, what do you call someone who doesn't take a shower, in Chinese? Shin shan piu, without shampoo, and he was barely reprimanded for that. Besides that, Christmas went great, and the next day we woke up very late. The nephew started saying that he wanted Chinese food for lunch, so my BF's parents asked me if I could make it. I said sure. I was glad to do it. I cooked something my parents would do in a special occasion like these, and served the table in a very traditional way, with chopsticks and everything. Then I called everybody to the table, and instantly saw their disappointed faces. The nephew said, what's this? To which I said, Chinese food. He grunted and said, no is not, and started to throw a fit. His mom calmed him down, then BF's parents told me, this isn't what we were expecting. I asked, what did you expect? And they replied, something like what they serve at restaurants. I tried to explain to them that this is something actual Chinese people eat, but wouldn't listen. They dressed up and went outside to eat at a restaurant. My BF stayed at home, but then called me stupid. He said, you knew exactly what they meant by Chinese food. I'm trying to make you look good in front of them, but you're not helping me by playing dumb. I asked him to explain himself better, but just shouted, when people say Chinese food the last thing they expect is white rice. Get a fucking clue, and locked himself in our bedroom. Since that incident, they started to speak to me as a toddler, over-explaining everything they asked me to do, and stopped correcting the nephew's racist behavior. I tried to tell my BF to tell them to stop, but he said, "This is your making, now they think you're brainless." This continued till they left yesterday. My BF and I now barely talk, and I wonder if it's really my fault and I should have known better.
Girl, you better run. Are you kidding me? Madam, you are not the asshole here. If that had been me, if I were her in that situation, absolutely not. First off, you're not going to be racist to me. I will correct the nephew. I ain't gonna wait for the parents to do it. I'm gonna correct the nephew, for one. And then being upset, talking about this is not what Chinese people eat. What the? Are you kidding me? Are you being for real right now? Are you being for real, for real, for real? For real? For real? Nah, absolutely not. No, you are not the asshole, ma'am. That whole entire family, including your boyfriend, yes, they are the asshole. Absolutely not. I think that's gonna do it today. So let me know what you think about this. I think this is kind of cool. Just something different to try. To see, you know, because these are always very interesting stories, and I always find them kind of interesting, you know, because again, sometimes you don't know whether they're actually true or not, but you know, I think it's kind of interesting to see, like, you know, people present certain situations and kind of seeing where people lie on it. So do you agree with my my assertions? Are some of these people really assholes and I said that they weren't asshole, or the other way around? Let me know what you think. But I do appreciate you joining me today, and like I said, if you enjoy what I'm doing here, hit that like button, subscribe, and also consider hitting that notification button. That way you always know when I'm doing no videos. But anyway, thank you all so much. I do appreciate you all, and I will see you in the next video. Have a good one, everyone.